Thank you, everybody. Welcome to our session number 3. And I think a quick summary. Let's pull up the PowerPoint so you can see. Not practice time yet. Where we are, let's take a quick inventories after 2 weeks. Today is session number 3. And our focus for this session will be call to action. So you already learned about the title. You already learned about how to wow the audience. I will mention a little bit more the 5 techniques that I use a lot to start our speech. And then we also show you the 5 other methods that you can use. Of course, the way you start, it could be the way you end up. That's the style that I'm highly interested in. And they always do that. I start with something, I figure out how to wrap it up at the end because it's called a full circle. It's a very effective way to keep people, especially when you do it's only 3 minutes, it's very short. But that would be our focus today, call to action. But last week we already learned about the body, right? The journey heroes or the SCR solution that most of the very high consultant firms in the world using. So those are the 2 techniques. So when you practice your speech today, that's what they will listen. They listen what techniques you use, how do you set up your problem, how do you set up your conflict, introduce your character, and then how do you finish. So those will be something they will listen very carefully when to listen to your 3-minute speech later today. Okay? All right, so the format that we do today is very similar. We will have the warm-up exercise, just like we always do. And for the warm-up exercise today, I feel really good today that we have the full class with a lot of people. So now I'm glad that somebody using a phone because now I can see. Oh, so I need to get back in. All right, I can definitely see all of you. So now everybody move your camera the way that I can see you, and we're gonna do push-up. Good night. I need to move my camera too because if I do push-up here, you're not gonna be able to see me. All right. Give me a second. Everybody can get the position of your camera. Then we do what we call a very fun and advanced push-up. I think you can see me. Wasabi is sleeping right behind Tate. That's why they want to make sure they have good stuff. Wasabi not feeling well in the last couple of days. So. All right, so we're gonna learn. You can have the timer for 1 minute, and just again, just like we take time, and learn. You better do too. You're not just watching, have the phone on, but you need to do it too. So the way we do push up is we do the plank, very nice plank posture, just straight, right, and then we do right to left, left to right, 2 push up, and go back to plank, and we repeat that. Okay, so this one is all about technique, not so much about fast or slow. But when you do the plank right here, touch the right hand, touch the left shoulder, and the left touch the right, and then we do 2 push-ups and we back to the position. Okay, so say do all of you so we see. It sounds complicated, but it's not.
Okay, so
we do the demo
3,
first. Right to left,
2,
left to right, 2 push-ups, and then we go back up, and then we do it again. Okay, go ahead, John.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. 1 minute start.
Right to left, left to right, 2 push-ups, and go back up. Right to left, left to right, 2 push-ups, and back up. Right to left, left to right, 2 push-ups, and up. Right to left, left to right, 2 push-ups, and up. Right to left, left to right, 2 push-ups, and up. Right to left, left to right, 2 push-ups, and up. All right, you probably know the routine by now, so I'm just focused on doing my push-ups.
Thumbs up.
All right. Good job, everybody. Back to your original position or whatnot. They need to move back. That's why they don't lose power.
Can you give me co-host? Thầy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Co-host. Yes. All right.
It's okay.
It's all good? All right. I'm pretty sure everybody awake now, right? Cool. Hi. So what is the technique that I'm going to share today? Take a look. The 5 techniques that I really want to share with you to start out the meeting. And you don't have to do all 5, right? You can just pick one and you start adding on, and then you decided which one's better. The content have to match. Don't force and say, oh, because this is how they started and this is how I'm going to start. That doesn't work that way. So you got to make sure we understand this one, in the way that it's really meant to be matched with whatever that you want to share. That's a very important message I want to make sure. But we can start out with make a very bold claim, right? Like the 10 seconds to the American dream. They always say, hey, here's 10 seconds. I'm going to start doing 10 and 8 and 6 and 4 and 2. And I have 5 dialogues going in between me and the passenger sat next to me on the airplane. Right? Or you can say, hey, there's 23,000 or 2,300 kidnaps in America every year. And in Mexico, that would be 2,300 murders, right? So something that really strikes people. One of the things that you can see, a lot of people like to use that number 2, but it's getting old after a while. You cannot, every time you go out, you say, imagine and imagine. You have to make sure you mix and match it. You cannot just go out, imagine today is your last day. But that's something very powerful. If you have something very important, you say, imagine today was your last day. Will you start doing everything that you plan to do today, or you would do things differently, right? So if you want to introduce about how to think differently, that would be a good start. But you cannot do that if you're talking about something completely different. So make sure the intro and the technique got to match. You can strike with something very, when they talk about how they go around the world and build tsunami warning for the world, then I have to start out on December 26, 2004. There's a 9.2 earthquake at the bottom of the Indian Ocean, and it killed 250,000 people, right? So we start out something very striking but related to the topic that we want to introduce. Or sometime out of the blue and say, hey, if I speak with students in high school or people play sport a lot, I say, who play basketball in here, right? And I just imagine there's a basketball, say, go ahead and see you can shoot the basketball. And of course, I don't have any basketball with me. And people, or sometimes I even carry a basketball, say, see if you can make a basket. And of course, I toss the basketball to somebody and they look at me and say, like, I don't see any basket. How can I make a shot if I don't see the basket? And I say, great question, right? How can you shoot a basket that you cannot see? And similarly in life, how can you achieve something if you don't have a clear goal? So that will be some they introduce into a goal setting class that they teach, right? Or something very mysterious out of the blue that nobody can figure it out, and then go up and then walk in the room. I pop up the picture like this and say, who is this long leg lady and why is she kissing me, right? So we strike a conversation about, they got to go to a fundraise event, and probably most of you recognize Kashini Long, and she was there, and she just said, oh, and Jimmy, come up here, and that's what she did out of the blue. I didn't plan for it.
Met her recently.
Oh, this is my favorite Paris by Night singer. This picture took a while ago when they first started out to do charity. And instantly, this picture, like always, San Diego that evening, and I just keep it just for the heck of it. All right, 5 more proven techniques, and you can use this to close out. So when you try to close out or action, make sure you use some of these techniques that you can use. For instance, I always start out or closing my BuildASchool Foundation speech with the story of how I met the 8-year-old Min in Cambodia when I was 16. And because he's illiterate, and I tried to teach him in a couple of days before I jump on the boat and then go escape to Thailand. And I will wrap back with that story. So those are the stories. And then I call to action and say, do you really want to wait 31 years to find a purpose? Or do you want to wait 31 years to build a fifth school, right? What is your main story? What is your purpose? And what are you going to do about it? So that's the call to action that we can wrap up our speech. Another one is just say use the proverb that everybody know. Give thầy 1 second nha, để thầy double check on wasabi một chút xíu. Hai con. Okay. Okay, go open door cho con đi ra ngoài nha. Everybody say hi to wasabi. Okay, stay here. Let thầy dạy cho mấy chị mới ăn một chút xíu nha. She's not feeling well. She's really sick the last couple of days, and I got to take her and go đi tu học 5 ngày, so I'm double duty just taking care of wasabi. Stay here with daddy, okay? Yeah. Okay, this is my little angel here. All right, so back to number 2. Like we say, life is suffering, right? Wasabi is really good example. Life suffering. She's old and she's blind and she cannot walk and she's crippled. She have a lot of issues, but that's okay because when you love somebody, you love her no matter what, right? Not because when she's strong, when she's healthy, when she's sick, you love her even more. So life suffering, so let's suffer together, or there's no pain, no gain. That would be something good. I think when you motivate people to do exercise, or I'm coaching people that try to lose weight, or they really not have a mental issue, that they keep saying, I have so many broken things in my life. And I say, yeah, life is suffering, but we just have to get through those pain. So you can have some of these to use a call to action, right? Number 3, very interesting one. Sometimes people like singing. You can say, hey, everybody know Kelly Clarkson, right? And then what's she famous for? What didn't kill you make you stronger? That could be a leading into something you motivate people to overcome all the obstacles in their life. The introduce with a metaphor or an analogy is something that you watch the TED Talk from Thầy, so you can see exactly how I introduce the problem. Instead of go and say, children poor all over the world, I just put myself in the trash bag. I have people drag me across the state and I just walk out from the trash bag to demonstrate that there's a lot of children in Vietnam or in poor country. When they're flooding, they really go into trash bags and their parents drag them across the rivers, right? So those are the introduction that they can make people feel like, wow, or the call to action that can make people say, oh, this is really, really something that it triggers my emotion. The key here, you want to trigger the emotion, not so much about logic. That's why be careful with number or statistic, because those tend to be dry. So if you can evoke the emotion, that would be a lot better. Humor is another technique that is very effective when you want to start out. If I walk into the room, the too many executives, they look too serious. Like at UCSD yesterday, when they walk in, all of the people in the academic environment, the university, they are serious people, right? They all PhD, they all like AI engineers, so they're very dry. So I start out with the humor and just light them up. I say that, believe it or not, with all the advanced AI, with everything in the world, and the first thing I really want to show all of you today is this. So I show them, instead of show them how many schools that we build every year, and they go from year to year, I just drew something by hand. So it gets people attention, because if they just pop up a chart that I use, AI, or I use, high tech to draw, which I do have it, but it's not get people attention. And they say, what? Why something that you have to use by hand? And I start introducing, there's some problem with AI. They really not get the data right. And then I talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of AI in the keynote. So there's a lot of ways that we can introduce that. All you have to do is just try to pick up one or what fits your personality and then you can start using it. So the close to action, that would be something they're looking forward to your speech next week, not this week, because they're just showing you, so they're not going to expect you. I do expect you to have a close in your speech today, but not so much about one of these techniques, okay? Any question or anything from these before we go into our practice? They know that they covered that a bit quick. No? All right. With that, we have 4 speakers today. Lương, con be a timekeeper cho thầy nha. So 1 minute, give them a green, 2 minutes, give them a yellow, and 3 minutes, give them a red. And make sure you record the time, okay? I know you have an app that can count, so make sure you record all of that. All right. So today, who would like to go first? And Lương, con có cái speech title của mấy anh chị chưa? Tại vì thầy chưa có thì
Yes,
you have
I
it.
had
So you
it.
introduce.
So,
Okay.
So
So remember, introduce them the way that they say the speech title and their name, then the speech title.
yes.
Or you can reverse that. You can have the name and the speech title one more time, name, and then basically that one you just hand off and you can start the timer. Everybody have 3 minutes, and who will go first so they can help Sunny again? All right, Sunny go first, and chị Summer will be the one evaluate Sunny.
Can I ask, like, for the framework that you just like sent, do we have to be like exactly like that, like for this time? Because like I prepare it, but like I didn't have like framework for that.
Framework, you mean the number 2 con? The session, last session or this session?
I mean, yeah, con không có cái section. I mean, I don't know. I think like
Number 2.
number 2, right?
That's the
So
last
do they
session.
have like quotes and then kind of that's more?
Okay, sure.
I will send again link.
Okay, thank you.
Season 2.
Okay.
It's on our YouTube channel, and Lou, we didn't send the link to that. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, but basically, make sure we listen to what is the problem. I mean, the character, the problem, and the solution. So that's the hero journey, right? So what did the character are, the setup, and the challenge, and then the result? That's another way we can see that. So think about 3 distinct state like that when you try to listen to his speech. And also, if we use the SCR, that means what is the situation? S stands for situation, C is the complication or the conflict, and R is the resolution or the result, right? So those are the 2 frameworks that we can look in for how we develop the body of the speech. Okay, all right, over to you, Lương.
Okay, so now I will introduce Duke Sunda. Yeah. Bastard son, Sunda, bastard. For you.
You'll understand this if you're an immigrant child. Culture and language are like cinder blocks in relationships. They don't just weigh you down, they build walls between you and your loved one in ways you don't fully understand until you're much older. Like little whispers, like the time I had to ask my 5th grade teacher what the Bible was, or when aunts and uncles at family parties said, "Oh, Sonny, you're just too American." It's strange to live in that borderland of identity, especially for a child just 9 years of age. That's when I first came to America. You see, although I know my family loves me, for a time I felt like they didn't really understand me. In high school, I became violently ashamed of my chirpy, slurring Asian accent, of being seen in my dad's old pickup truck, of hand-me-down clothes and cheap perfumes that could never mask the musty smell of sweat. No Teslas, no Dior, no home tutors. I felt I was being set up for failure, and I resented my family. This summer, I moved down to Orange County for an internship and reconnected with my sister, Mia, for the first time since she left for college. She was like a third parent to me. Riding through town on this bright summer afternoon, I told her all of this, how frustrated and lonely I felt growing up in America, and we had a talk. She said to me, Sonny, I understand how you must have felt, but where did you get this idea that we never care for you? You know, Dad gave up his whole career in Vietnam, years of work for a mere day job to feed us. I hadn't even thought of that. Not a day went by did he not worry to death about our future, especially you. The last time I hugged Dad, I noticed something. I hugged him tight. I felt his spiny back against my arm. I let go and took a good look at him. I remember when I was a little girl, he was so happy and big and healthy in Vietnam. Everyone respected him. He was vice president of a big company. Now, 8 years later in America, he was bone thin that I could see his rib cage. We're very lucky, Sonny. You think you don't have much, but you have a lot of things people ask God for. And I broke down and cried. I was so caught up with myself, I had forgotten that the people around me existed, that they suffer. I was living off the blood and tears of my parents. What a bastard. I promised myself that I would start treating them better. Since that day, I've resolved to live so that I won't have to regret it when the time comes. Thank you.
Congratulations. 1 minute for evaluate.
All right, Summer.
I would like to congratulations to Sony because this time the second time that I saw you have like really good impact and also you changed a lot in like really positively. So congratulations, I really impressed for that and I think like that is one of the really relatable story of the immigrant. So I can feel you and like I think like a lot of people can feel that too that is like the good hook and the story that I think like everyone, even my brothers and yeah, have like the same story. It's just like I think like you have a good story. Your voice is good, everything is good, but I think like you just need to get on the right check time in the next time. Yeah, that's it for me. I mean, like perfect.
Thank you, Con. A quick comment from Tay. Tay have wasabi in my arm, so I cannot really type. So the speech you rewrite a lot better compared to week 1. I will open it even stronger because you set up that you are a bastard immigrant and people look down on you. So I will start with something real that happened instead of saying it very general. Hey, bastard, get out of my playground and go back to where you came from. You set up the scene like that, and now you introduce a situation, a conflict. It could be the playground, it could be the school, but now it triggers people more instead of pain, all of these things, right? So one thing that Gong really need to pay attention, your content is very strong, a lot of emotion, a lot of connection. All of us refugee went through that. I felt exactly how you felt when I first came to America. And even today, after 41 years, I still got treated like a second class sometimes. But those are things we all can relate it. But the key is that your journey, the epiphany when Jimmy wake you up and you wrap back to a story, it's a very, very, very relatable when we have the hiểu và thương, right? So those are the strong messages that I want to focus on to uplift people toward the end instead of still make it very personal, very dark. Right now it's a little bit dark, so try to bring the bright into it by introduce, because with her love that really change you and make you realize the family is a lot, and that's something that you will want to embrace. So focus on that aspect and make the ending stronger when they listen to it next week. Okay, good job. All right, who's next? Okay, but and with but now thầy will ask learn to listen to the evaluate, but so thầy sẽ be the timer cho con. Okay, so you don't get distracted when you try to listen to his speech. Let me start my timer really quick, and I will do green, so that's a minute, green, yellow, and red. Okay, that will make it a little bit easier for thầy when they listen. Stop watch. Are you ready, Bud?
Okay, can everyone hear me clearly?
We can hear you loud and clear. All right, Lương, con introduce anh, okay, giúp thầy.
Yes. The man in the mirror. Bác Nguyễn. The man in the mirror.
Sometimes the most important journey you take isn't across the border or across the world, but it's actually across one summer. In summer of 2017, I joined a summer boot camp, 5 days, 4 nights, outside of Hanoi in Hải Dương, which was when I was in middle school, shy, unsure of myself, and honestly, I was lost. My grades were low, I didn't have a lot of friends, and I had no motivation. I didn't know where I was going. Most of the days, I would just be drifting away and zoning out. My parents sent me to this boot camp not because I asked them to go, but because they hope I might be a better student and be a better child. I thought it'd just be a fun trip, a break, a vacation, but it wasn't just any normal boot camp. It was something deeper. They taught me a lot. They taught me how to better time management, stay focused, build better habits, how to become a leader. And the one thing that they taught me that is most powerful is that they taught me how to face ourselves. On one of the nights, they turned off all the lights. The room was completely dark, and they started playing soft music in the background. Even now, I can still hear that music at the back of my head. We were told to close our eyes. Then someone placed a mirror in front of me. They said this. This is the most important person in your life. Look at them. Look at what you have put them through. Look at their pains, their suffering, their mistakes, and look at their future. How many times have you ignored this person, disappointed them, forgot to love this person? And then I broke down crying. I didn't know why I was crying. I had never cried like that before. In that moment, all I saw was the 14 years of my life staring back at me. The laziness, the blaming, all the time wasted. And for the first time, I stopped blaming myself and I start taking control of my life. I start taking responsibility. After that session, we walked to the dining hall. No one said a word. We all ate in silence, and all of us were sitting at our own reflection. After the boot camp, nothing has changed. My grades didn't suddenly went up. My classmates still treated me the same, but something inside me has changed. That summer, I stopped waiting for someone to fix me, and I start fixing myself. I told myself, "You're better than this." And ever since, one mindset has stuck with me: be confident, be optimistic, and you'll get through with it. If I haven't gone to that camp, I wouldn't be here in the US. I'd probably be in Vietnam, stuck in some place. I didn't leave the camp with a perfect grade or a new reputation, but I left with something much more powerful: a mirror and a promise to never look from it away again. Because growth doesn't start when other people believe in you, it starts when you believe in yourself. That summer, I met the man in the mirror.
Everybody take a minute to write some comment for Sunny using the chat. What he did well, how he can improve, and what's something that's so memorable or key takeaway from his speech. Thầy did not assign the evaluator, so I will be the evaluator but my bad. All right, the minute is up. You can just go ahead and send your comment to him. All right, but this is the second time. Actually, this is the third time to listen to the man in the mirror. I really like the title. It's beautiful. They will open it even with a stronger 10 seconds, 15 seconds. One summer, one silent night without music, one mirror. You can see how alliteration they use here, right? Summer, music, mirror. Turn a 14 years old boy into a man. You pretty much within 10 seconds, you tell the whole story. You can just tell the journey, how you get from beginning to end. That would be something they started out. And now it gets people attention, and then I can delve into detail. Be careful that your eye contact, you look around a lot. I think you try to memorize the speech. When we talk to the audience, make sure the audience is who you're interested in, not up in the sky, up in the ceiling, or anything. For us, the hard part is try to stare into the camera, right? So if you have some keynote that you want to remember your key point of your speech, make sure they behind the camera. So when you look to the note, people think like you look at the camera. I don't think you need note because you memorize the story by heart. But try to condense it down. They still can see it can improve a lot better. The journey story you follow really well. You introduce it, and you introduce the conflict, and you do the solution, the result very beautifully. I really like the Man in the Mirror Theater. Title because it reminds me of a movie with Leo DiCaprio a lot. But make sure you fix some of those. I still want you open it to be a lot stronger. Okay. And a very simple like to take one summer, one night with silent music, one mirror, a 14 years old boy completely turned into a man. So that's just some suggestions they have. And then when you're wrapping up, you already have the Man in the Mirror again, which is very, very nice wraparound technique. So keep working on those, refine the body. And I'm looking forward to listen to you again next week. All right. Next one. We have two more ladies. Thầy will ask Summer, and when Summer start, thầy will ask Lương to evaluate this. Actually, you know what? I want back to listen to chị Summer.
Okay, so my topic is power of your confident look. I think that I'm gonna start right now too.
Okay, so let me introduce your speech.
Okay, go ahead.
The power of confident look. Summary, the power of confident look.
So 7 years ago, something happened that changed my life forever. It didn't look like the big deal at the time, but a random thing that the local fashion shop owner asked me, "Do you want to be our model?" So I remember I reading that. Me as a model? Wait, I didn't believe that I'm like pretty enough. But I said yes. Of course, for the money. I need income. So I stepped in, but that yes actually changed my life, changed everything. But I didn't know that. As I stepped in front of the camera for the first time, I was nervous. I didn't know how to pose. I didn't know how to carry myself on the camera, but I was willing to learn at that time. I learned how to act confident even that I'm not. I learned how to dress the way that make me feel good. I know to learn how to speak in front of people, and I began to discovering the power of being present. So here that no one telling me. So people hear our voice. People see our like we dress up, and then people see our energy. People see our behavior when you contact with them, interact with them. And that's all that we can practice by meditate, by look at a mirror, and then prep talk to yourself. So I think like when we believe in that, people will start believing us too. And one thing that I learned that when we believe that, door will open and the connection will happen a lot more. The opportunity will flood us more because I start to notice saying people look at me differently, not just because how I dress. It's not about like how I pretty, but it's about like express your worth, that your aura. And it's funny that how something small can shape my entire world. That's first offer. I think like it's just like mini, really tiny offer, but it gave me a new lens of life. That how we present ourselves, not just for other, but ourselves is matter. And that journey taught me that confidence can build and practice by time. So to everyone who listened, I share my story, personal experience that I found that it's necessary. And I believe it's changed my life. I also believe that this public speaking class is a great opportunity for us too. So it's not actually easy for me to be consistent, but that's why we encourage and support each other. And I hope that we know and try together to be better. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Taitumi and Loon, for spending your time for like teaching and then like support young generation.
Right, everybody? Just have a minute of silence so we can write comment cho chị Summer. Or chị Cát Hạ, right? Or diễn viên model Cát Hạ. Okay. Are you ready back to evaluate thì các hạ speech con?
Mm-hmm.
All right, go.
Well, first off, I feel like this speech is way better than your initial speech, and it was way more clearer. I can easily identify the problem, the character, and I just see this character development. But there's a lack and result. I don't see the where you're at right now. You can add examples of how that offer that modeling acting offer change you, or what's changed inside of you that made who you are today. And I just feel a lack of result is what I meant. Mm-hmm.
Good job. Thank you, God. All right. But keep working on your eye contact, okay? Even when you evaluate. Every time we have the opportunity to speak, it's not just like, oh, when I make the speech. So when I evaluate it, I can look everywhere I want, because it become a bad habit. So train that, pay very close attention. Even when you're not doing anything, not speaking, still learn to work with the camera. So learn to stare in at the camera, or in this case, your phone, correct? Okay? All right, các hạ. Thầy will start your speech even stronger with your first offer or first encounter, because that's when you set it up, that's your situation, that's the environment that you're in. All right, so that would be something very, very, very thầy note một chút xíu. Okay. Bring people into your story right away. You mentioned about your age situation. So one night at a coffee shop, one question changed my life forever. Do you want to be a model, or would you like to model for us? So bring us to that experience with you. Set it up, right? It could be an encounter. Bring that up, and all you just say, set up the scenery or the situation and the question, and you say, it changed my life forever, because that introduced to the rest of your speech. Okay, so have it stronger. One evening at a coffee shop, one question, my life completely changed at 16, 17, or 7 years ago. Don't say something general like 7 years ago. It has to be something specific. And usually people can relate to I was only 14, because we are 14 once. So when if you say 7 years ago, it's hard for us to say 7 years ago. Now we say, when were I 7 years ago? But when I was 17 or 18 or whatever, it's a fixed number, and people can connect with that quicker, so they don't wander in their mind doing the math or thinking that. One thing about your storyline, you missed last lecture, so that's why thầy không có be harsh on this, but make sure you set up the problem, you set up the solution toward the end. But I did not really see the struggle into that, right? I'm an ugly duckling. I didn't really believe myself confident, but you have to play down on that. Otherwise, you say, wow, this speech is all about herself. Because when we make a speech, what impact do we have on others? That's the key that we try to convey here. So how do you guide younger generation, especially đối với thầy, right? Tại vì con bé Lương này nó bịt cái lỗ tai lại, chứ không là thầy lúc nào thầy cũng la nó là không có được sống vain, and thầy train it to be compassion, and thầy train it all of that stuff, because they try to keep it away from cái flashy light of get dressed, be the MC and all those things, because thầy biết cái đó nó sẽ drag cái con bé vào cái con đường wrong path really quick, really fast, if not somebody coaching her or mentor her correctly. So those are the dangers of glamorize this without telling people the hardship that you have to go through, right? I have to work on my public speaking. I have to learn how to walk. I didn't really make any money. So you have to make sure there's a naked truth into that. So you want it, but if it's something you want to be confident, or you want to build up your career as a model, as an actor, then be ready to work for it and believe in yourself is the first step. So con phải có cái teaching point and guide all the people that look at you and say, oh my God, I really want to be like her, but they don't know how hard you work or what is the struggle for you to achieve this. So you got to make sure that we have the educational point in our speech, okay? Especially something that we glamorize the result, and we have to let people know that it's not that simple. Okay, all right. We need to keep up with the schedule here, and we're doing pretty well. Last but not least, so that means Lương going to make a speech. Sunday, you're going to listen and evaluate the feedback của chị Lương later, okay? And thầy will be a timer for you, okay, Lương? So you will just focus on your speech. Again, I will do 1, 2, and 3. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
$1, one passion. Miss Lương Lê. Miss Lương Lê, $1, one passion.
What can we do with $1? Enjoy a cup of coffee, drink a glass of lemon tea, or build a school. What? Build a school? By $1? Unbelievable. But I believe in it because I did it, and it became my passion in life. So, what is your passion? How can you find it? I was just an 11th grader stuck between 4 walls and a computer screen during the COVID-19. With an algebra person like me, it's so terrible. My eyes were always tired and dark. Staying up late, not because of studying, but because of romantic comics. My grades fall down so fast, from the top of the class to the top of the bottom. The only thing I care about was studying, eating, and wondering what could happen next in the stories I read. I'm just a normal student like others and have no passion. But everything began to change when I met my teacher, Jimmy. I heard his story about building school with just $1. I believe in that and wish that one day I could also build a school. That could come true when he gave me the opportunity to fundraise for BASF. Using my speaking skill, I delivered a speech in front of my entire high school. From a student, I asked for $1 to help to build a school. After the speech, a student contacted me on Facebook and transferred 200,000 Vietnam dong, about $10 in 2022, and said, I truly admire you. The speech touched my heart. I wish you successful. It was the moment of happiness I could never forget. The first time I felt a successful speech, and I wondered if it might be my true passion. Finally, I raised a total of about $500 from that speech. The amount was not extraordinary, but it was my first project. And now I'm working on project 4 with the goal $5,000. It's no longer a question. I know that build a school for poor children is my passion. So, how do you find the passion? My answer is just do it. Go out and experience. Only when we do, we can understand and know if we feel it or not. We love it or not. Like climbing, we often see images of someone standing on the top of the mountain and taking selfie. and grace. But we don't see how hard their journey to climbing it. So, can we build a school with $1? No need answer. Give it to me. I will show you. Thank you.
All right, everybody, take a minute of silence to write feedback for Lương so she can work on her speech and make it better the next time. Go. All right, are you ready to evaluate the Lương, Sunny?
Yes, Tay.
Go ahead.
So first off, I love like your facial expression, your body language is very like dynamic, and I feel like that does a lot in conveying your message. The $1 hook is very memorable. I love how you use physical objects and integrate that into your speech. One thing though, I feel like uh some part I didn't really understand well because of like your accent. Like for example, like the anecdote on COVID. But in spite of that, I love how confident you are, in spite of the accents. I know when I was learning English, it was very hard to like go up on stage and speak like that. So yeah, I love how clear like the takeaway is. I like the analogy at the end of the man taking a selfie on the mountain. That's very it's like taking me away from the story and let me see it from a different perspective. So yes.
Thank you con. By the way, Lương, cái speech của con là 4 minutes and cái speech của Bách là 4 minutes and 15 seconds. So watch out for time. I think Sunny and Cát Hải clocked in quite decent time. For Lương, your opening is very strong. Since you're young, and to be more convincing, when you say $1, I can build school, and people would say like, oh yeah, sure. You say, I did it not only one, not twice, but 3 times, right? So now you build up even more credibility, and you did it 3 times already. So that's why I focus on that. I did it not once, not twice, but 3 times, right? So that allows you to use your body language more. Definitely your enunciation is not bad. The melody of your speech is really good. Thầy biết con MC tiếng Việt thì nó không có fair mà ask con present in English, but truly like Sunny say, we need to work on your accent reduction, okay? And that's part of the journey. Thầy went through the same thing even today. Thầy cũng phải work on accent reduction so we can. The key is have accents so they know who we are. We keep our Vietnamese heritage. That's a beautiful thing. And that's something they're very proud of because I always introduce I am a Vietnamese American. But when the accent hinder the ability for people to understand our message, that's when it becomes a problem. And that's why we have to reduce the action. Thầy không có dùng cái chữ eliminate because we can. And we don't want to. We don't want to eliminate our accent. We want to keep our, Vietnamese accent. But we got to minimize the interference for people to understand our message. All right, with that, we all finish and right on time. So they wrap up really quick with the feedback. We just go around, everybody just say something that you really like from this speak wrap today on the topic of using the body really nice. And make sure pay attention to the call to action because that's something that we're looking for the entire speech by next week, okay? All right, let's go around the horn really quick. Any question or any feedback that you can ask before we wrap? And let's start backward this time. Let's start with Lương Lê. Oh, I think Lương still too busy with do all the steps. So let's start with chị Cát Hạ.
I mean, like, I really love the class because, like, I think there are a lot of like imperfection and mistake that we need to improve more. And I really love the exercise too. I mean, like I posted in my story, so people gonna know more about that too. And for in the future, I think like I would like to ask Thầy because like I'm gonna go back to Vietnam next week on Tuesday. And is there any like school that in Vietnam that I want to visit, and then I want to contribute myself as like the like one who shout out or like going there to support. Yeah.
Okay, we can talk that offline con because they have over 100 schools, so it's pretty hard for you to
Oh,
just pick
I
and go.
see.
Right? We have hundreds of schools in Vietnam, but depend on where you are and how safe for you to travel. Most of our school really hard to get to. I
Oh,
just give you that warning, and not like, oh, you can just hop on the a bike and get there in half an hour. But like if you fly into Hanoi and you have to travel like 8-10 hours to Hà Giang before you can get into the school. We build a mountain, we build very rural area. So
wow.
in Saigon, you have to make it's a day trip at least. So that's why get in touch with us. But Lương Lê is really. Are you going to be in Hanoi at all? Or are you going to be in Saigon mainly?
I think like I'm gonna go to Hanoi. Yeah. Like,
Okay.
but like I didn't pick like the time yet.
Okay,
Let
that's
me to
fine.
be your tour guide. Yeah.
Lương is in Hanoi. So Lương definitely can. And then she fundraised for her season 4 Hanchen Rangli. So you definitely can partner and do some of those PR for her, and that would be something really good. And that would collaborate. But visit school is not a simple thing. You have to be willing to give up a couple of days and ready to go in the jungle and very remote and very, very
Oh.
dangerous motorbike rides and stuff like that to get to where you need to go.
Mm.
We don't have school that readily available in any big city. We really go far in a way. One thing about các hạ, con be careful, con dùng cái chữ like rất là nhiều. Đó là feel the word, right? That's similar to and ah. It's a few words, it's cute, it's okay, but if you use the like every other words or so, it become a nuisance when people listen to you. And when you want to be a professional, these filler word we need to cut out.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that, a little bit long, but yeah, we can apply on that thing, okay? And Lương can definitely guide you without distracting you from all the priority thing that you already got, okay Lương? But make sure team up với chị and có thể do một cái PR cho hành trình rèn luyện mùa 4 của con. That could be a really good thing.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
Sunny?
Yes, Tay. So I noticed that throughout like everyone's speak, like you're using a lot of body language. So my question is like, how can I start working on that in a way that feels like natural, that I'm not forcing it?
Yeah, just apply to your speech and you just practice, right? In the title of your speech, hey, bastard, go back to where you came from, or something that really. Do you use a lot of hand gesture in your normal daylight conversation? Start apply it and start introduce that, but don't force it. Don't force it. Just try to be in front of mirror, practice your speech with your whole body instead of just. I know that we do Zoom, so we just stay in the camera here, but practice next time in front of the mirror in the bathroom or whatnot, and start using your entire upper body. And I think when we're done with lesson 4, lesson 5 will be the body language lesson. Okay. Anything else, Sunny?
I love how wasabi is just laying in your lap the entire time. It's very cute.
She can stay in this and she can sleep for like forever until sometimes I have to wake her up and see. She's very sick now, so she's not really active like she used to be, like hide the mountain and stuff like that with me. But that's okay. Thầy understand that em nó bệnh nó già thì nó không có còn active like that anymore. But yeah, she is my world. All right, but
What you stated earlier, I love the fact that you state that don't eliminate your accent, but to reduce it. by doing so, we can still keep our culture, our heritage, and keep who we are, our Vietnamese tradition. I just love that. That's amazing.
Thank you, Phong. You know I'm a SOB when it comes to be proud, be a Vietnamese. But that's the trick. You have to be able to walk that proudness without losing the fact that we be grateful to America, right? So those are the things that I still can project how much I love America, but I just let people know how proud I am to be a Vietnamese. The things I used to say is that Vietnam in my blood, in my soul. So that's something that in me, because that's my blood and my soul, I cannot change it. But America is where my heart and my desire. So it's a difference between proud of your heritage and also be grateful to the country that carry you for the last 4 decades. Okay, last, Lương.
Yeah, this is the second time I study this class, but I feel like every time come to our lesson, I feel so new and I can learn so much. Thank you, thầy, so much. Yeah, and because I have for everyone, so I also can look at you, and I also learn from everyone in our class. Yeah, so great. I love that.
All right, good job, everybody. Welcome to the end of session 3. I just hint to you what's coming up in the next session so you can prepare. Again, we're going to have the same class, same topic and everything. Keep working on it. We already done with that part. The next part, it will be a very famous framework that I come up with, because other framework when we talk about the journey, the hero journey, and the thing that most of the consultants just feel that you the feel again here. The SCR model framework. The model they always apply to my speech. It doesn't matter 3 minutes or 30 minutes or 3 hours or 3 days. It's the 4 E's framework that I use a lot. I have to make sure I entertain people. I have to make sure I educate people. I make sure I have to energize people. But the key is that I have to empower people. When they walk away from that, they got to change and they have to willing to do something different. So those are the key things that we will work on next week. Your mission right now, you should have a very complete speech, strong opening, very structured body, and you have a very strong call to action, right? So make sure you work on those things. I'd like to take a moment to answer the struggle that Sunny is really struggle with the dark topic. When we talk about dark topic, it does not mean that we cannot energize or inspire people. But the key is that we came to this class because Phoebe asked her to train all of you on the purpose of helping her either in the EB5 business or the fundraising effort. So don't lose track of that, okay? Because that's a bigger picture why we spend 2 months learning these things. So whatever we learn here is a practice, but start thinking about how can I apply these things to help Phoebe reach her missions. Because the purpose to be a great communicator is not so much about improve ourselves. That's the first step. But the higher calling of be a great speaker is how to transform others, right? And how we can make an impact with others beyond ourselves. The first step is learn to be good at what we need to do and how we can be better ourselves. But the ultimate goal, like is everything I'm talking about now is all about BuildASchool Foundation. And every time I show up, I speak or teach or train, I'm thinking about thousands and thousands of children I help. And I have that vision very clear in my mind. So don't lose track of the bigger goal why you're taking this class, okay? So don't get struggled with, oh yeah, I have this speech and I really struggle with it. That's cool, that's fine, because you need to learn and they will guide you through. But don't lose track of the bigger goal here. Why are we taking this and what is the end game? One, you done after 8 weeks with Thầy and you don't have Thầy anymore, then how do you still continue your journey, your development journey? Those are the very key messages Thầy don't want you to lose sight. With that, let Thầy sound the bell and then we can get back to our Friday routine. Thầy cho Lương nó chuẩn bị nó đi ngủ nha. Focus on your breathing and be grateful for the time that we spend together here. Alright, thank you so much. Cái úp vậy là cái này là con út của thầy, con bé Lương là cái con út lớn, còn cái cô này là cái cô út cục vàng số 1. Alright, thank you everybody. Lương stay on the phone so thầy just wrap with you a couple of things about the live stream tomorrow. So I haven't heard much about you here. Everybody have a wonderful Friday and have a wonderful weekend, and thầy will see you next Friday, okay?
Thank you, thầy. Have a good weekend.
Hey, Jimmy.
See you next week.
Bye
See you next.
everyone.
Bye.
Phải tắt cái recording tại
Thầy
vì
bảo thầy
mình...
bây giờ à?
con tắt cái
Nào.
recording được rồi. Yeah.
Nhiều không?
Chị Hiền nói rồi, cả tuần lễ thì thầy